is filled with so many beautifully detailed and surreal illustrations, like this one. Welcome to Mumble Moon ASMR. I have a special treat for you today. I'm going to be reading out of a unique little black book. And what's unique about it is that the story inside is also the story of a musical album created by one of my favorite musical artists. His name is Woodkid, and, well, that's his pseudonym. His real name is Yoanne Lemoine. He's a French singer-songwriter, so probably didn't pronounce that correctly, but he goes by Woodkid. Every song sort of corresponds with a chapter in this book because the album is a narrative based on Woodkid's childhood. And so he collaborated with an illustrator named Jillian Tamaki and co-wrote the book with someone named Katarzyna Jerzak. And they created this wonderful little black and gold book. The keys are sort of like his signature. And on the back, this lists all of the songs in the album. And the book is filled with so many beautifully detailed and surreal illustrations, like this one. This is one of my favorites. If you find this kind of imagery interesting, there's more of it in his music videos. In the beginning was the relation. You were near, over me. I didn't have to look for you. With closed eyes, I reached out, and my hands met you. You were never far. I lived between you and you, between softness and light. Then I opened my eyes, anticipating you already, and my glance traveled from the shaggy teddy bear, unmistakably, lovingly, to the body, your body, you. for you before I even knew you. And when I saw you, you became my plenitude. I only became who I am in you. From a formless chaos, I took shape because you were in my world. In the beginning was a pure association of flowing toward each other, a corporeal reciprocity. In the beginning was a hill flooded by sunlight. Atop the hill was a stone house whose walls reflected light, shining like a mirror of molten ore. From the hill, fields came down to the river in the valley. The river was one of the gods of my childhood, filled with the unknown, inspiring delight and yearning for the world at large. I felt the pulsation of the river, which, wave after wave, flowed toward our destination implacably, carrying with her current the seasons, our golden days. In late spring and in the summer, we went down to the river. It was the most beautiful in the summer. We walked through the fields barefoot, avoiding the stones and the sharp pricks of the wheat blades. The fields shone like molten gold and came all the way down to the river, where they met her silver expanse. Serene sky reflected itself in the river, and the world between the river and the sky was ours. Where the fields ended and the stony riverbed began, there grew a pine tree shaped like a lyre. Farther down, beyond the bend of the river, there was a dark forest, but here the pine tree stood alone. We would hang our clothes on the leaning tree, and naked we would lie down on the rocks made warm by the sun. We wore wicker belts and wooden swords. Summer after summer, we swam in the river, skirmished with our swords, waiting for the mysterious ship which was going to take us down the river, to the sea and beyond, into the world at large. We lay down, overcome with the heat, and through half-closed eyelids, looked at the sun to see who could stand it longer. Afterwards, our eyes, blinded by the fiery glare, searched out the coolness of the river, and she flowed indifferent, preoccupied with herself only, slowly, majestically sweeping the train of her silver blue waves. But when we went swimming, the river carried us and our winged dreams. When we swam upstream, she resisted us, threatening to pull us away from the familiar rock and the pine tree, and we had to struggle against the current. Exhausted, breathing heavily, we would climb out onto the burning bedrock and spread out in the sun. The air vibrated with the heat to the rhythm of the chanting cicadas. It was the peak of summer. When it was time to go home, we would walk back through the field to the house atop the hill. In the garden, there was an ancient cherry tree. It had always been there, as long as anyone could remember. I played underneath scraped knuckles. The cherry tree was large and tall, like an oak or a baobab. You and I would get lost, playing hide and seek in its branches. "Can you see me?" I would shout. "No, I can't," you always replied. But I knew you were near, and I knew I would never lose you. Your bright silhouette accompanied me everywhere. We lifted our heads to see where we were, and it seemed that the top branches of the tree reached the sky. The rays of the sun mingled with the little cherry boughs, as if the tree supported the cupola of the sky. Our cherry tree was the parasol for the world. Never again did I see a cherry tree like that. I don't think there is one. A tree is like a person. When you are next to an old tree that has kept you company since always, you are not alone. When you touch its bark, you feel in relation. You look up at the tree, and the tree looks back at you, embraces you in its aura. The cherry tree held on to me. Its spreading branches were the mantle that protected us. The universe underneath its leafy crown was our home. Elsewhere may have been black clouds, thunder and smoke, and we could hear the distant detonations, but here we were safe. Our home under the cherry tree was untouchable. When at night I would come home, Mom complained because I was all dirty. I had leaves in my hair and holes in my pants. She'd sigh, feed me supper, give me a bath, and tuck me in. "Mom, do you hear the thunder? I can't sleep." "It's only a storm, honey. It's far away. Far, far away. It won't come here." "But Mom, look at the poplars outside. They're bending down. Won't they break and fall in the house?" "No, they won't. They bend because they're supple, and that's why they don't break. They're tender." As she was reading in bed, propped on a few lace pillows, her lovely head turned to the unseen world in her book, her fingers playing with her amber necklace, the color of molten gold. She was only half present. Sometimes I would lay at the foot of her bed reading as well, or dreaming with eyes wide open of all the islands about which I had read. Mysterious islands, treasure islands, desert islands, and about going down the river to the sea, which appeared to me equally boundless, blue, and luminous as the sky over our valley on a sunny day. And there's an illustration that just accompanied what we read. Sometimes I wanted to read my mother's book, but when I asked, she'd always reply that I couldn't, that it wasn't for children. "When can I read it? I want to." "You can read it when you're a grown-up." That didn't satisfy me. Just before my 7th birthday, I decided that I wanted to be 6 longer, maybe to stay 6 forever. I didn't even want the elaborate birthday cake. I didn't want the presents. I only wanted to continue being 6. And when I understood that my mom could not help me with this, I cried inconsolably. She held me and stroked my hair. "Your hair is golden," she said. "It's the color of linden honey. It's the color of your amber necklace, Mom." When we went riding our horses for the first time, I felt awkward. I had never ridden before, and the horse seemed huge and intimidating. Once I was up in the saddle, I felt so high that I thought I might slide right down to the ground should the horse lower its head. I held on for dear life, and when your horse started trotting, I had my heart in my throat. But my horse followed yours effortlessly. I began to catch the rhythm of it, and here we were, galloping through the fields and meadows, jumping across streams, the wind caressing our hair. Like Indians of the Great Plains, we galloped, leaning against the wind, and we knew no bounds. We stopped on the river bank, where someone had put a pile of small apples. Our horses began to graze on them. The sun was shining, and its reflections from the surface of the water blinded us. The fragrance of apples rose in the air, and the fullness of this moment spread over us like amber incense. There are moments one never forgets. Instead of lasting their allotted human time, they grow wings and rise above all the noise, the busyness, the chaos, all the way to the sky, and they never disappear. You and I riding our horses to the sky, surrounded by the sweet smell of apples. No one can take that memory away, because it is not just in me, it is above, like a golden cloud. The next page has another lovely illustration. The sunny cloud led us by day, and in the evening it turned into a starry road, which our horses followed with ease, as if we didn't belong anymore on the crude earthly roads, as if our place was in the sky, you and I, free in the sky. All the sunlight in the world falls on this landscape, on this field. The winds rustle the wheat. Waves of the wheat move through the field as if it were the sea. Through the valley the river flows, silver, blue, green, the river of our life. She comes from the distance, lingers in the valley, and then continues into the distance. In the Peals of laughter roll down the hill towards the river. They sound like little blue bells ringing. The ringing of the bluebell flowers amid the tall wheat, the silver reflections from the river down below, the smell of wheat heated by the sun, our sweet sweat, the sudden call of the skylark high above. We need nothing else. In the beginning was the relation, the house on the sun-drenched hill, the cherry tree that held up the sky and shielded me, the bluebells and the river. This was the golden age. It was never going to end. So this book is made of some type of black fabric, clothy material, something like cotton, I'm not sure. And there's gold embossed lettering. And also gold paper edges. On the inside, there is black and white